What's up, guys? So just got done eating, and yeah, I'm ready to go record these two cars together because they're actually identical. Yes, I did take delivery of another Mystic Cobra. So for those of you that don't know, this is a 96 Mystic Cobra. I already had one of them, and growing up, this was a dream car for me. We had a family friend that had one, and I remember hearing it down the road, and I knew what car was coming by because I could hear it, and it sounded gnarly. 3 or 4 years ago, I was able to purchase this one, and it's very clean. It's very clean. It's pro charged. Showed on another video not so long ago, but you can see the intercooler there. It's pretty clean. It's a 54,000 mile car. The paint is really spectacular. But like I said, obviously what makes a Mystic Cobra cool is the paint, and finding one in solid condition is really hard to do. And I mean, just, you know, with the natural lighting here and some of the LEDs and the halogens, I mean, look at that crazy flop between, you know, copper to green to purple to fuchsia. On this car in particular versus that one, I noticed there's a lot more sapphire in the hood right here. And I don't know if it's just the lines, because that has a different hood. I think it just makes it look more sapphire, which is crazy. I actually wish that one had more of it. And I don't know if this is just how it is between Mystics, because I've never seen two next to each other like that. So this is really the only maybe 4th or 5th Mystic Cobra that I've ever seen in my lifetime. And there's obviously 2 of them here. So yeah, like I said, this one's really clean. I had the pleasure to buy this one a few years ago, and it's pretty stock on the interior. Like I said, 54,000 mile car. Originally they were about 300 horsepower engines. That's kind of hard to believe too, because you have some EcoBoosts that are like pushing out more now than actual Cobras were back in the 90s, which is crazy. But the color is the money maker on this car. And I don't know, I'm a racing fan, so Jeff Gordon had a couple cars back in the 90s that had similar colors, especially that bronze copper that he ran in the All-Star race. And then he had like a Superman that was in like this purplish blue. So yeah, that's another thing that made it cool for me. It was obviously I was a Jeff Gordon fan growing up, and you know, it kind of looked like his race car, which is cool. What I'm gonna do is take the cars. I got them both here in the garage, which is, again, it's just mind-blowing to me seeing it pull up, or pulling up and parking next to it, and just looking over from the front of the garage, and seeing 2 of my dream cars side by side like that is just a really cool look. I posted a Snapchat earlier, and people are freaking out because they said it looks like a camera trick, you know, like one of those TikTok things that people are doing, just the way I flip around. Once I show you the rest of this car, I think you're gonna understand why I plan on selling that one because of this one. If you're unfamiliar with Mystic Cobras, they're 2000 built, and I don't even know how many are surviving at this point, but they're really hard to find in solid condition. And back in the day, it was really tough to get them resprayed because the technology that BASF used for the paint was actually used for the hologram thing on the $100 bill. So if you wrecked your car or needed to get it sprayed, you had to pay a lot of money. A BASF representative had to fly in and make sure that no extra paint was kept, because you could actually forge money, which is crazy. When I was 5-6 years old and I saw this car, it always brought, you know, a lot of joy to me, just because I loved it. And the fact, you know, growing up later and realizing that it was the same birth year as me is really neat. And these cars were actually built the same day and the same year, like 4 cars apart. And I'll get to that again in a second. I still find new colors that I haven't seen before in the paint, and there's times where I only see certain colors in certain times of the day, and anybody who owns a Mystic or a Mystic Chrome car will know what I'm talking about. There's just something in the sky, or like the lighting, that only allows for certain colors to show up. You know, it's kind of random, so it's pretty interesting. Originally the body, if I have this information correct, the body is actually like a 3,000 mile body. I have the original gauge cluster back there to show that it's like 2,885 miles or whatever it is. Chris from Arizona, obviously a huge Ford fan, has owned a bunch of cool Fords in the past, built a few of them, and is currently building them. But he actually bought this car and did a lot of work to it. Acquired a 2004 Mystic Chrome wrecked vehicle with 14,000 miles, pulled the motor, pulled the transmission, popped into this thing, did a lot of work on the engine bay like I've showed you. Obviously changed the inner fender wells and all that. Which is really nice about this too, is that it's got the 2004 Mystic Chrome seats. And like I said, if anybody knows anything about these cars, they know that these seats are hard to come by in good condition. And it's got the steering wheel, the shifter, the boot shifter, and the rear seats as well. Like I said, here's that roll bar that we need to get some work done on too. But it's a Mystic Chrome Terminator swapped Mystic, if that makes any sense. To me it does. When you think about it long enough, it'll make sense. The driveline, the interior, most of the suspension components, it's all Mystic Chrome underneath, and the top part is Mystic, which is really crazy. Like I said, it was really crazy because they only made like 1,500 Mystic Chromes in 2004, and they only made 2,000 of these in 96, and this has literally the best of both worlds. And on top of this, already having all the upgraded suspension from the 04, it's actually running on coilovers. I mean, it is set up to the nines, and I'll throw in some pictures right here of what it looks like underneath, and I even have videos from the donor car. This one does have the Cervini's cowl hood. Some people aren't a fan of this, some people aren't a fan of those, and to be honest with you, I actually like them both. I'm sorry if I sound like I'm getting sick. I feel like I am. I kind of like the look of both of them. I like this part of it because of that sapphire that I see in the garage. I only see that sapphire on the hood when it's up in garages with like bluish to whitish colored lights, and I only see that sapphire in that. And whenever I had the hood up on this one, I didn't see it because it's just different, obviously different style. It's a lot smoother, and I think that's just because of the angle, because this paint's so sensitive to the edges and to the body lines and to the lighting. The pigments change so rapidly that it doesn't really get a good chance to flop correctly, if that makes any sense. But I'm really excited to get this out and drive it. I need to get it aligned. It's kind of all jacked up right now, but I need to get it aligned, and I don't really want to get on it too hard and get out and drive it until I get that done. So I won't be driving it in this video. So like I said, it's really, really unique to have two Mystics in good condition like this, and the fact that, you know, this is build 837, this is build 841. To think the last time that these two cars were this close to each other was probably on the assembly line or in the transportation lot, and then probably never got anywhere close to each other again, which is crazy. Like I said, seeing them this close to each other again is just really special. And they're really underappreciated. SN95 Cobras, or SN95s for that matter, just really underappreciated. And you can't really blame people because they don't look the greatest. Like, these look great because they're modified and they have like the S281 spoiler, which is the saline spoilers, which is better than what it looked like, you know, from the factory. I don't know who's honking over there. They're a lot cooler now with the right height than what they looked like from the factory. So I don't blame people for not appreciating them the way they should. But at the end of the day, people always have something to say about Mustangs, and not everybody's a fan of them. From the Fox bodies to, you know, even the new ones, people don't like the styling, and they'll always find something to complain about. And if you haven't seen my video about what I hate about the GT500, go check that out after this video. And yeah, even up until 2020, there's always something that Ford, I feel like, could always change, and that's just the way it's always going to be with anything that's designed ever. Is there's always going to be room for improvement. I think it's just really cool, and like I said, that's really special to see these two cars together after being split up for so long. You know, almost 25 years later, back together this close is just really, really cool. Well, guys, that's about it for me. Like I said, this is a really cool day for me, seeing both of these cars this close together. It's starting to get hot outside because of the sun. Also another reason why that thing needs window tint. But yeah, this is a really cool car. The first factory color shift car ever painted is the Mystic Cobra, so it's really, really cool. Big piece of history, like I said, kind of underappreciated, and it stinks because, you know, it's such an iconic piece of Ford history, automotive paint history, obviously. And it's really, really cool. So everybody that I talk to that doesn't know what these are, they obviously think that you know, it's a custom paint color, and they don't realize it's factory. So it's really cool having two of them right here, like I said, that were built on the same day within, you know, 2 cars of each other. So very awesome. I know a lot of people talk about the R34 Midnight Purple, and this has a lot of that same, you know, purple, bronze, blue, but this actually was before it, and this kind of started that, and that's really cool. Obviously, most people would say it's obviously not as cool as an R34, especially from, you know, Japan and whatnot, so I totally get that, but, you know, this definitely deserves its place in history, and hopefully one day it'll be appreciated the right way. That's all for me for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Follow me on the Instagram, links in bio. I'll see you guys on the next one.